is Kristo, I'm from Albania and I'm an IB2.
I'm also IB2. My name's Mary-Kate and I'm a Liverpool student.
Well, I came to Westbourne last year, so that's 2 years now.
And I came for the infant school and then I left and I came back to do the IB.
We've only been head boy and head girl for a little over a month now, but the responsibilities include mostly representing the school to people from outside trying to get a student's perspective on it. So if there are parents or potential students or anybody else, frankly, who wants to come into the school and see what it's like and maybe get an opinion, not from a teacher or the headmaster, but they want a student's perspective on it, we're usually the ones there to help.
We've also done quite a lot of work in the prep school. So Kristo and I have been over to the Friday assemblies a few times, and we also helped out in the election of head boy and girl of the prep school.
Well, for me, the fact that Westbourne is such a small school is really a great advantage, because that means that the classes are really close to one-to-one, and in some cases there are one-to-one lessons. So that gives the opportunity for the students and the teachers to really get the most out of the lesson time, and I think it's a great advantage.
For me as a British student, the fact that Westbourne's international is probably the best thing. In my previous school, I don't think there was anybody who was from anywhere else, and now I'm in a class where just everyone is basically from a different country. So it's just opened my mind up a lot more to how big the world is. And
Penarth is a lovely town. It's a small town, which means that it's quiet, which is good for students, but at the same time it's not in the middle of nowhere. So because it's so close to Cardiff, means that you don't lose any opportunities that a big city like Cardiff can give you, like going to a university lectures, for example. You can still do that here without all the distraction of a big city.
So Penarth's definitely one of the safer places to live in the UK. We're close to a city, but we're not in the city. It's really a suburb, so it's a really safe place, definitely.
And boarding, I quite like it because it gives off this atmosphere of being close together and being more of a unit, and especially if you're coming here from a different country and you don't know anybody, living in the boarding house where there are people in the same situation as you, going through the same thing, kind of gives you that emotional support that you need to get through the first few months. I quite like the house parents because they're there not really as this authoritarian figure who just shouts at you or just puts these rules to make you sad. They're more there for support, and if you do have a problem, they're there for you to discuss it and to try to find a way to make it better. And especially having the boarding house cabinet where we have the opportunity to give our thoughts. It's more of a community rather than the students and then the house parents. Well, I would definitely say that the IB does have quite a lot of advantages to other programs because it's so well known throughout the world. So it gives you the opportunity, once you get the diploma, to not only apply in the country where you did the IB, but try different countries where perhaps you may be more interested. Maybe they have a certain course or a certain university that you're interested in. The IB gives you that opportunity. And I wouldn't say the difficulty is that big of an issue. It just, you need to organize your time and keep up with your deadlines. But of course, the teachers are there as well to help you get through that.
Yeah, like Kristo said, I don't think it's impossible. It's just managing your time, I think, is probably the hardest thing. But I think it's much better than any other qualifications out there because you become a much more well-rounded person at the end of it. And when we've been to university fairs and things, we've spoken to them and they've been really impressed that we can do so much, not just, science or humanities. We can all do both.
Well, I'm hoping to do medicine, and my first choice is Oxford.
And me too. I'm medicine at Oxford and also at Edinburgh. I'm looking at as well.
CAS stands for Creativity, Activity and Service, respectively, and it's this part of the IB where you have to do a certain amount of hours of creativity, activity and service. And I think it definitely gives you an advantage over some of the other students because you've already done this proactive lookout for different activities. So you've done, for example, charity work or voluntary work, and you've kept up with your activity, so you have a sport and you have found some way to stay creative throughout your IB by drawing or painting or whatever else you decide to do. So it makes you a more of a well-rounded person. It gives you something to write in your personal statement, and definitely gives you an advantage when describing yourself.
I think the CAS project as well really makes you stand out, because it's a project you have to organise with your peers, and I think, does it last over a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people have done really interesting different things, and to show how independent you can be to organise that on your own, I think is a really impressive thing.
Well, for example, for my CAS project last year, I organized Movember activities. So during the month of November, we organized different activities to help raise awareness for men's issues like prostate cancer, and we did bake sales, and we put posters around the school with different facts about men's health. And at the end of the month, we also did a charity run, and all the money went to help the Movember cause. And that was a great experience for me, because it was a way of me giving back, like donating to a charity, but at the same time having to organize all of that, especially with my friends, also helped me to realize better ways to have teamwork and work in a group.
I think my favourite thing I do with CAS is I do volunteering with a local charity with children and adults with special needs. And if it wasn't for CAS, I don't think I would have ever had the confidence really to go out and approach somewhere like that. But because it was compulsory, anyone had to do it. And it's become like one of my favourite things. I go every single week. I go on the weekends as well. And it's just become a really important part of my life.